Oftentimes, when you have a day off, quote unquote, you get the time to reflect. And it feels like a little bit of a day off here because we're not out at practice. And I was able to go back through my notes today and able to maybe start formulating more of an opinion about what this team looks like a weekend. We'll go through that tonight. Since we've been a week in a camp, what do I think about the LSU football team? We'll hit on four major points there when we talk about wrapping up week one that was for LSU football in 2024's fall camp. CJ Jimcoily, 6'3", 210, the safety out of Nashville, Tennessee, and Lipscomb Academy has committed to LSU, does have Louisiana ties, actually has pretty deep staff ties. But what do I know? What do I know? I know I got fuzz on the front of my hat, and we're going to get that taken care of right now, buddy. See? Y'all see this right here? I got something on the front of my bill. I sure as hell do. We are not going to have that. No, sir. Hat perfection on this Thursday. There we go. A little bit better. We got to have some hat perfection. I am not going to have a nasty looking hat here. But CJ Jimcoily does commit to LSU. We'll touch on that as well. We'll do our Bama deep dive. So we have the last couple weeks not done one of these, and mainly, or at least a week, we skipped last week because of practice. But we have been going through and talking about every single team that LSU plays on their schedule. Tonight, we go to Tuscaloosa. And this one's going to be very interesting because of the ties that it has. Now that we're here, guys, football season is here. Whether you like it or not, it is among us. How much different is this game? How much different is the game now that Saban is not on the sideline? I think it's monumental. I think it could be, yes, I'm going to say it, a program-defining win at home. Now that Nick Saban is no longer here, will the real LSU please stand up? Show everybody that over the last 24 years, yeah, you know what, man? LSU might be a problem. Brian Kelly, LSU might be a problem. I think it is going to still be that game. So we'll talk about 5 massive points on our Alabama deep dive. Why I think that this LSU-Bama matchup might just be in LSU's favor in more ways than one. And not even talking about on the field, but talking about where that game is going to be played. Really looking forward to that tonight as well. I changed on the spot my Ruffino's rants. We are going to get to that tonight too. I was going to talk about ESPN's top 100 or top 10 wide receivers in college football since 2014, so the last decade. And Devonta Smith, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson are on that list. 30%. And maybe there was another one that might have been on that list. Odell Beckham maybe was on that list, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I am. With that being said, so many Louisiana wide receivers that could be in the top 10. But I'm not going to do that. Regardless, what I'm going to talk about tonight is kind of going to be a somewhat of a theme in reference to the Alabama deep dive. How are we going to tie that in? We can tie it in now if we need to. LSU, it's the 100-year anniversary of LSU playing in Tiger Stadium. And LSU posted a video of all of the great games that have been in Tiger Stadium. And it's interesting. There are some monumental games in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. But it's different. Because once you hit that 2000 year, what LSU has done the last 24 years, it is amazing, man. It is breathtakingly amazing what LSU football has been since 2000. Nick comes here, he changes everything, wins a national championship. Whether you like this man or not, Les Miles kind of somewhat sustains to some extent at times and was a real competitor, won a national title, got back to another one. Guys, you don't fake national championship runs. You don't fake them. Blake, 2007 was crazy and wacky. Yeah, you still won a national championship. Brian Kelly just a couple of years ago beating Nick Saban for the first time in his professional career. Is he on a path to win his first national championship? Ed Orgeron getting hired after Les Miles being fired. Orchestrating and building the best football team of all time. Heisman Trophy winner. Guys, you've had 2 Heisman Trophy winners in the last 24 years. The last 24 years, 2 Heisman Trophy winners, 2 of them in the last 5 years, which is even crazier. Multiple national championships. Another championship run you came up short in. 100 years, man. 100 years the Tigers have been here. Hopefully they're here for 100 more because I'd like to talk about them at least for 70 more. even though your boy's in his mid-30s, I still want to be here for the next 100 years to be able to talk about him, even though I probably know that I won't be able to be. We got lots to talk about. We'll get into it. Let's get to a couple of your comments first. Blanche Hudson says Leslie took chances when he got to LSU. He became less of a risk taker as the years went on. Very much so. And those risks that he took paid off for him. Spectrum Wellcare says, want the Ole Miss game more than Alabama. Fair. I think, though, in beating Bama, it sends a deeper message. It sends a much deeper message. That message is that, hey, man, the greatest coach of all time, who was also here at one point, can you get over that hump? Can you sustain that hump? Man, you're 3-2 against them in the last 5 years. 3-2. Here's the interesting thing. Maybe I'm wrong in this. I didn't research this. This is what I was just thinking. In the last 5 years, LSU is 3-2 against Alabama. I'm actually going to write that down. We're going to talk about that tonight too. 3-2 against Alabama in the last 5 years. It's the greatest coach of all time who didn't slow down. Guys, Nick Saban's worst years are still sometimes getting to the playoff. That's insane. Pure insanity and insane. Yeah. You can be 3-3 against him, man. Ooh. Fazal, maybe, says, Blake, any chances we get French like a realistic chance? I don't know how I feel about that one. Maybe. But I don't feel good about him. We'll see. Let's see how things get closed. I mean, he does have ties to Louisiana. Let's see how things close out here. Deion Sanders Jr. was trash talking LSU about LSU, talking about how Colorado fans are much better than LSU fans. Did I miss something? Is this real? Is this Deion Sanders Jr.? Who's trash talking LSU and LSU fans? I hope it is real. Donnie says he's in the 318. Alex also says that she is in the 318. 31 great. Glad to have you here. Christopher is in the 240. 954 says Brandon McCombs. Good to have you in here with us as well. I'm going to boot. Yes, guys, I see that. I just saw y'all's comments. Not you guys like watching us. Yeah, you can ban them. Hawk Tua and YouTube. You're gone. Bye-bye. 919 says, Dylan, good to have you here. 318 says Mickey. David, 318. Joseph, 318. Good to have you all in here with us as well. D-Pain says, I think that it was a fake quote from Deion Sanders Jr. Okay. Good deal. Thomas Robinson says, Blake, I'm looking forward to a Texas A&M, and Oklahoma sweep. Well, you don't have Texas this year unless, Thomas, unless you get to the SEC championship game with them, which could be plausible. Let's see how this year goes for Texas. There have been a lot of people that have been bullish on them. I specifically have not been one of them. I don't know if I have them going to my SEC championship game. I don't know if I'm in that boat like most are. I do think that when you're a coach like Sark, you have to prove it again. They got a lot of things that they have to replace, especially on defense. Listen, here's a hot take for you. Actually, no, it's not a hot take. You're replacing two premier defensive tackles up front if you're the University of Texas. You gave up, I think, 117. I didn't write this stat down, but I think it was 117, 114, somewhere in there in the country in passing yards allowed last year. So what do you do in the middle? Now, I think they're moving Anthony Hill Jr. in the middle. Good on them. But if you're Texas, you got to show me that your secondary can be better this year. I know that you had a lot of very talented young guys, but there were times, the Washington game when you lost a playoff, that you got exposed. And you had to replace two very talented guys. Oh, we got them. We did that. We're fine. Okay. You say that you're really good and reloaded at wide receiver. Okay. When you actually, and Texas fans, when you actually go on a run, and you are on a run like Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, those teams have been, who have constantly played in conference championship games, playoffs, whatever it may be. You got to be able to reload and show the world that you can reload. That's how this world works. So, yeah. Andrew says that sweep is very much in play for baseball. It actually is. Now, he said Texas A&M. And Paul Sub, I'm going to admit, I know that they have a new coaching staff over there. They replace a lot of dudes, man. I mean, they bring back a lot of dudes, man. A lot of dudes. But Oklahoma, Texas, yeah, I could see it. Bama can see it. Ole Miss, I think, was in there. He said, yeah, I could see it. But yeah. All right. Let's get to it. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook, share to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag. Our good friend Tyler Alexander over at LPT Realty. Our good friends over at J&J Exterminating. Don't go anywhere. We got lots to discuss. We do that next. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
All right. Let's get rolling. Everybody does us a favor and hits the like and share. I only ask you 2 times during this entire show. I'm not all, I mean, y'all laugh at me for always going to the break and doing that. That's fine. But I don't ask you throughout the show. We talk all throughout the show about what we want to talk about. Do us a favor, hit that like and share. All right, so we are a week into LSU fall football camp, and today I was able to go back through a lot of my notes and kind of formulate an opinion on what I had written down the most. This is in no specific order. Just how I write things down. Don't want you to believe that it's in one specific order. Now, maybe it is. Maybe psychologically it's what I'm doing, but it's not intentional in what I'm doing. The way that I see it. So we're going to talk about 4 major points of what we've seen through the first week. O-line vastly dominating in the run game. You know, that statement could have been very much changed or different if the last couple of days didn't happen in pass pro. What do I mean? What I mean is, I thought through the first 3 days that the O-line in pass pro and in the running game had dominated. But then you get into some O-line, D-line drills, and you're like, okay, I mean, they're getting a pass rush, I guess. A pass rush to some extent, okay. But that shows a little bit of progression. That this O-line was really good last year, and they're going to be really good this year. I don't know how much to make of it when you're still running the ball at will. Not Campbell, but at will whenever you want to. I still think that this D-line has to show throughout camp. Now, we'll be at practice on Saturday, and I would assume there's going to be more of a scrimmage type of atmosphere at the end of practice. See what you look like after scrimmage 1. And for that, maybe we see more in that the D-line does from a pass rush aspect. When it's, hey, man, 1v1s, coaches are on the sideline. We're not standing behind you trying to figure things out. Let's roll. Now, Brian Kelly may be, but we're going to simulate a game here. And I'm interested to see if some of the pass rush that has happened shows up there. I don't know if it will. I really don't know if it will. What I do know is that in the running game, this O-line has dominated from the beginning of camp all the way from Thursday to Thursday. And there were multiple. So I counted at least 9 times where a running back got 10 yards plus, okay, in the first 3 days. Once some pads started coming on, it stayed the same at 9. So there have been times, guys, that in 20 carries, damn near 18 carries, You've gotten more than 10 yards, and most of them have gone to the house. Caleb Jackson is house 3 that I've seen so far this camp, at least that I've written down. At some point, you're going to have to give him the rock and let him go to work. If you're going to be 235 pounds with the speed that you're showing at the current moment, give him the rock and let him go to work. You're going to have to lean in on them. So, yeah. At the end of so that's point 1. O-line vastly dominating. I don't think it's remotely close. I think you can start leaning on some teams. We'll see. Point number 2, practices split after individual work the last 2 days. You know, I went through the last 4 practices and everything that we had written down. And there was a common theme for the last 4 days. In individual drills, offense would get them. They'd get them. Make of it what you want to make of it. Say that, well, it's benefiting to the offense in offense's favor, whatever. Doesn't matter. They were winning those reps. They were winning some 7-on-7 stuff. But you started to see as fall has gone on that secondary at times had stood up. And not only that, so had your linebacker play. You know, yesterday, Harold Perkins had a very big day. And I'm starting to question that as shit starts getting real, live bullets start flying with Blake Baker, did you teach the fundamentals and get some of those started to be locked down to where you can start implementing your defense? I'm not saying that this is fixed. I think it's going to take more than 1 season to fix this defense, the way that you would ultimately want your LSU defense to look like in a given year. But things have certainly picked up the last couple of days. Could you have a better overall team? I don't know that yet. Not a better team. I don't think that you are more talented at spots this year than you were a year ago. Like, for example, I think when it's all said and done, 5 years from now, we'll look back on Jane Daniels and be like, bro, what the fuck were we watching? What were we actually watching here? And then you'll put more things into perspective. I'm cautious. I'm optimistically cautious with how this team has looked. And when I do this, I want to remain cautious because I don't want bias to seep through. Right? Like I want to take that as much of it out as I can. What have my eyes actually seen? I just think you'll be more balanced. I think you'll actually have more fight, determination, and will. Again, no, I don't mean Campbell. I do think at spots, at some critical spots, you have some really freaking good depth. Like, guys, let's look at the offensive line. Sure. At wide receiver, sure. I could start making the argument to some extent the same at safety. Guys, that safety room, those young dudes in that safety room, Jawan Johnson at the current moment has made me a believer. By the way, the kid did not play that position. He didn't play defense in high school. That kid has made me believe, like, oh shit, this kid can play. Let me tell you, guys, how do I want to say this? Because I don't want to put a big label on him because he is a freshman. When you're talking about just being an athlete, that dude can play. How does he tackle? I don't know. Haven't seen him in those situations. I know that brother can run, and I know that that brother can play. So, with that being said, you got some pretty solid, good athletes in key positions. Deep pause. It's what you want to. I think there comes a point that there's things that are happening that you want to see when you have an overall really good balanced team. That's what I think week 1 was. You saw flashes of being more balanced, and that is what gives me confidence. You know, if Jaden Daniels would have been going off last year and DBs were like, if what Ashton Stamps did with Kyron Lacey in the video we posted on Twitter of Kyron going up and getting one on him, guys, that's perfect coverage. There's not a lot more that I think Stamps can do there. There may be some, not a lot. Not a lot. If we would have had that last year from this LSU defense, I would have been the one that came out here and said, okay, we're winning a national title. Yeah, you're just getting beat by what might be a first-round wide receiver. You might be getting beat by somebody that is the most freakish athlete on this field, that being Brian Thomas Jr. You've just certainly been more balanced. And when you are balanced, you can win. You are more balanced in 22. You are more of an overall team. Got you to the same place, but you were a better overall team. In year 1, people complain about the offense. In year 2, under Brian Kelly, people complain about the defense. It's year 3 where everything starts balancing itself out. Because if it does, that means that you can make a playoff run. I'm going to skip my player of the camp through week 1 very quickly. I just want to run through a couple more of these. Point 4 that I had here was vastly feel better about the team chemistry on defense. Can Blake Baker turn that chemistry into success? I think this team has more chemistry and has been more together as a unit defensively than the first 2 years that they were together. I think Blake Baker has come in here and changed the morale. I think he's changed the defensive team chemistry. I think he's changed so many things about how players view football. And, hey, man, we got to learn and develop. We also got to have fun. We got to have fun. You're going to face more adversity on the field that I can throw at you. I'm not going to make your life a living hell all throughout the day. We're going to work, get better. We all want to advance. We all want to succeed. You know, I was told by somebody that was in that building that said that when Blake Baker first got there, it's probably one of the best quotes that I had heard. And that Blake had told the entire defense, look, man, I want to go places, and I know that you want to go places. The only thing standing in our way is not coming together and doing that together. Why are we going to fight? Why are we going to bicker? Why are we going to try to be pessimistic or be petty to one another? Let's go win this shit. Because if we all go out there and do great shit, that means we all get to where we're wanting to go. And when I was told that he had said that, I'm paraphrasing to what he had said. Paraphrasing. But when he tells them that, I see more of a defense that was more bonded this year than at any point the last 2 years. I kind of felt like they were too uptight. You know, I love Jamar Cain as an example, But remember when the guys, when they won the Cheez-It Bowl, that I think was an interception, they ran over there and they fell on the Cheez-It, and they're like screaming at him, get off of that, get off of that. And I'm like, and Brian Kelly comes over and it's like, hey man, it's all right, chill out. Like, we saw that on open video. Like, man, all right, okay. It's a bowl game, chill out. Shit was too twisted last year. And I'm not talking about the new movie, meaning in Twisters. Shit was twisted at times. Even though you build team chemistry, like, let me give you a quick example. Like, when somebody catches a pick, the entire staff is going bananas and celebrating with them. PJ Woodland had a PBU on Kyron Lacey the other day. Blake Baker ran off from the sideline and was there celebrating with him. Matt House would never. Matt House would never in a million years. With all of that being said, I don't know. I do not know if that's going to lead to team success. I don't know if that leads to defensive success. But as of right now, they are more together. The ultimate question becomes, can Blake Baker build off of that? If he can, then you might have a winner. Last point before we get to the player of the week for the first week, in my opinion. I do question if you haven't reloaded at wide receiver. What does that mean, though? You know what I mean? Like, what does that mean? Are you reloaded? Do I think that you are going to have 2 first-round wide receivers? No, I do not. No, I do not. By the way, y'all saw CJ Daniels is on the Biletnikoff watch list. Watch how many CJ Daniels questions starts coming up over the next couple of weeks. Just watch. You know, I posted a video on Thursday, or on Wednesday, excuse me, of Nuss and CJ Daniels getting a throw and catch in. There were some LSU people that liked that video. There was a lot of national people that liked that video. You know who you are. All the national media heads that follow us, you know who you are. I knew why you had liked that photo or video. Can they continue to do good? Especially Chris Hilton. Chris Hilton was up there in my player of the week for the first week. Let's get to that. The best player in fall camp so far through week 1, in my opinion, has got to be Ashton Stamps. And it's not because he's making every play. If I would do that, I would say probably Kyron, Chris Hilton, Will Campbell, Garrett Dellinger would be in there for me, if I'm being honest. Jordan Allen would be in there. And Jordan Allen's more in the Ashton Stamps role. Nuss would be in there at times until he makes a bad decision. There's no play on LSU's campus, in my humble opinion, that we have seen so far through a week of camp that's made a better stride than Ashton Stamps. You saw the video with him and Kyron, and you can see this for yourself. It's interesting with Ashton Stamps. Do you remember a year ago at this time? You can go and find any clips that you want. Please, I beg of you to go find these clips from this time last year about our conversation with Ashton Stamps, even during spring. I would come out here and tell you, man, Ashton Stamps, he's the best practice player in the country. Best practice player in the country. Couldn't translate it to the field. And you saw the video of him. You see multiple videos of him multiple PBUs, an interception in the end zone or the red zone, end zone on Garrett Nussmeier that he took back for 6. You've seen those things with yourself. You saw the video of, Kyron got on him, but I mean, shit, man, that's just a really freaking good play. A really freaking good play by Kyron over Ashton. He's been the biggest surprise because, guys, he had 3 picks. 2 of them going for 6. 1 in 7-on-7. 1 in a team period. Both of them being sent to the house because he read the route correctly and was athletic enough to make a play. You know, he didn't have the oh shit moments. What do I mean? What are the oh shit moments? You know, like when you do something and like you're having success in sports and like you make a really good play and you're like, oh shit. Okay. Yeah, all right. He was ready and willing and knew he was going to make the play because he didn't let up any time that he caught those picks. None. You know, there was an in route by C.J. Daniels in 7-on-7. He gets behind C.J. Daniels, and as soon as Nussmeier threw it, he breaks in on C.J. Daniels, cuts him off before the ball gets there. Boom. Interception, pick 6. Did the same thing on a slant. Same thing on a slant in the end zone. He has been the most developed player, whether it be strength and conditioning, whether it be whatever you want to bring, development from coaching staff, whatever, maturity, whatever you want to put your success on that kid having success, doesn't matter to me. I don't care about that. I care that he's building. I care that he's building and developing and that he looks good. So those are I said I had 4 points in the open. Those are our 5 points. Robert Collins says, great take. Well, then why don't you get your ass up here and make a take? Says, on the wide receiver concerns, we're going to take a big regression. Just like when OBJ and Landry left. Believe it. You didn't have a quarterback there either. The quarterback that came in after OBJ left was whom? After Zach Mettenberger packed his bags up, who was there? I'm willing and waiting because every time somebody has a take like this, every time somebody has a take, oh, we're going to take, no shit, you're taking a step back. I literally said in the open, you're not going to have 2 first-round wide receivers. Literally was said. However, if you think Nuss is going to throw for 3,500 yards, 3,800 yards, 20, 25 touchdowns, let me give an example. Jane Daniels did not have a good year 1, did he not? That's what you would say, that he was moderately okay. Ran the ball really well, didn't throw it well. Malik Neighbors was a 1,000-yard receiver. Was a 1,000-yard receiver. The quarterback in question that y'all are asking for, was it not Anthony Jennings? I see y'all in the chat fighting over it. Was it not Anthony? Because Menberger got hurt and Anthony Jennings came in against Arkansas. Danny Etling was in 16. So, great take about wide receiver. Yeah, it is a good take. It's my take because I'm out there. You're not. Harry Wilson says, gotta love that. Yeah, man, Harry. Listen. You do have to love it. If you're he's talking about the Blake Baker comments. I want to go somewhere. You want to go somewhere. Let's go somewhere together. You got to love it. You got to love it. I agree. Andrew Martin says, yes, the QB room was Anthony Jennings and Brandon Harris. We were so hopeful then. Hopeful then. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, Garrett Nussmeier cannot have the success that you think that he's going to have, and that your receivers have regression. It's not going to happen. You might not have a wide receiver that leads the country in touchdown receptions. But if you have a 1,000-yard receiver, another one with 800 are pushing it, that is reloading to me. You're not going to borrow it every year, but the talent is there. By the way, I didn't even bring up Xavier Jones. I didn't. All right. Let's get to CJ Jimcoily, then we're going to take a break, do a Bama deep dive. Why I think you're going to win the Bama game. But CJ Jimcoily, safety out of Nashville, Tennessee, 6'3", 180, 4-star safety, does have deep ties to Louisiana, 4.38 GPA. You know what I'm noticing about safety? What I am noticing about safety is that they're going after some really lengthy DBs. Very lengthy. Chase Thomas is over 6'2". You have CJ Jimcoily, 6'3", 180. When you're going after a specific player at that position, guys, players that are 6'3", run like the wind, can make plays at safety is a dime a dozen. Can it be these kids? The last 6'3" DB that you got, well, Deshaun Spears is the kid, and he just had a hell of a day. That guy is different, and I think he will be different. I don't know if he's the tackler that some of the safeties we've seen from here. That kid can play. If he gets the mentals down, the physicals are there for him to be able to play. But you do get CJ Jimcoily. Look, another really good addition to that room. I've been asked, because as soon as he committed, it wasn't anything good about the kid committing, because you look at him, he's a 4-star, he's a top 350 player, and everybody just wants to know, well, what does that mean with Jonah Williams? And I'm going to stay where I have stayed after he did not come to the Bayou Splash. There's going to have to start being something for me by the time that he commits that I hear that happens for me to think that LSU's on the right track. At the moment, is that time going to come when or if that moment comes about Jonah Williams? Then we'll figure it out. But right now, my gut feeling is I'm like, man, that doesn't sound great. Doesn't sound great. Has no impact to what they're doing with CJ Jimcoily. None. They were after the kid before the pickup of Jonah Williams even started. And sometimes I think that you got to understand that recruits will play the game, or parents of the recruits will play the game to start getting numbers to go up. Do I think that that's happened? I don't know. But it's the world that we live in. It's the world we live in. All right. I think the kid can really play. I think he's lengthy. I think he is definitely intelligent. 4.38 GPA. Guys, the kids that are taking honors classes and are potentially going to be a valedictorian of a school, 4.38 gets you somewhere in that range. Get you somewhere in that range. And do you know the kid's got the mentals? Does he have the physicals? Kid 6'3", 180 and can run and can cover. Comes from a great bloodline. Fantastic, great bloodline. We'll see if he can play. I hope that he can. All right, let's get rolling. Let's do this. I saw 210, 215 pounds in one article, but take that with a grain of salt. I'm going based off of what the kid said that his height and weight was when I asked, what's your height and weight? He told me 6'3", 180. Just going based off of it. Maybe he is 210. If he is 210, even better. I did ask him a while back, though. Maybe he is. Good on him. Good on him. Even if he's, the weight part doesn't bother me at all. Kid's going to put on weight. I'm not worried about him. If you're asking about his frame, could he be a linebacker? Sure. If he puts on enough. You know what he could play? Star. That's what you start getting athletic freaks like that. Yeah. They're recruiting to Blake Baker's scheme at the moment. They are. They some of this is scheme fit. I think that Chase Thomas is scheme fit and talent. I think that kid's going to rise, but it's also a big scheme fit, and I'm not guessing on that one because that's why they went with it. All right, let's get to a quick break. We'll come back, do a quick Bama deep dive, and then we will hear from you. What are some of the questions, thoughts, concerns you have? We're back next. Stay with us. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I see the chat debating Jimcoily will be a good 215, 220, says Kevin. Might be. I do think that they believe that they will use him more at star than any kind of backer, because then they would not have gone and gotten other backers like flipping one. because then you got Dylan Moses. You have the kid from Texas, and then you go and get another one. They're not doing that. They're looking at him at safety DB, not guessing. Anyway, let's get to this Bama deep dive. So we continue on our path, or continue down this road of going down each team on LSU schedule and talking about them, saying, what do I think about them? What do I think about the game? How does it match up for LSU? What is the game going to be like, in our opinion? The atmosphere. Tonight, we get to what might be the biggest game in LSU's schedule for perception. If you're going to say, hey, man, is LSU going to be in the playoff? They might have slipped up once or twice before. Now they got Alabama coming into town. Can they beat them? Can they win out in their schedule and get into the playoff? Maybe that's something that we talk about. Maybe you slip down to Ole Miss. Maybe you slip down to somebody like Texas A&M. But you come back, maybe Alabama's right here in the wings, and you got to start winning out to potentially make a playoff. I don't know if that's what's going to happen this season. I do feel really good about the matchup. I feel good that Brian Kelly is going to be on the sidelines in year 3, and Kalen DeBoer is going to be in year 1 in Death Valley in Baton Rouge. Take all of that out. Take everything, what you believe of this game, that alone, at night. That game will be at night. ESPN has already played that game at night twice. Remember, they had it in 2022 too. I fully believe that you match up well with them more than any quote-unquote top 10 team that you play in the preseason, more than Alabama. Let me tell you why. When I look at Alabama and see that they're a game that you might have to win, like you can't just slip up against them, but you might have to win because they match up well in the sense of that they have really young DBs. And I don't think that they are more athletic than you with our wide receivers to their DBs. I think that that's a little bit of a mismatch. I think that because of everything that they are having to replace there, do have some talent. I think that you have more. I think your room is better than that room, and you have a guy that, good decisions or bad decisions, is going to sling that thing to him. One thing of note, Kalen DeBoer last year, and actually every year that he's had, a year where he was the head coach, his secondary has not been good everywhere that he's been. I think he had one at 65, maybe 1 year. Every other year they've been in the hundreds. Every other year. If he changes that at Alabama, that will be the first time. I also question the young DB room and the younger DBs on that team for Alabama, because Kalen DeBoer said that himself to Nick Saban at SEC Media Days. Where do you think that you need to get better? And the first thing that Kalen DeBoer said was, DB, we are young, inexperienced. We make dumb plays back there. We've seen some dumb things from them in the secondary. You match them up with this unit, it could start getting ugly. I actually flip it on its head the other way too. Do they have the receivers that actually would go off on a DB room that might not be great? Like, do they have a good wide receiver room? Look, they don't turn a lot of experience or production in that room. Jalen Milroe at times has been erratic. Isaiah Bond has gone to Texas. And I'm starting to think here, we just got done talking about a guy like Ashton Stamps. I don't know if there's not a player on that team that he can't guard and have a really good day against. However, I do think it's going to be a war in the trenches. Whatever group battle wins, whether if LSU's wide receivers are better or they're not than those DBs, whether Alabama does find a premier receiver, guys, Alabama's got a really good offensive line. So do you. And when you can control the game with both offenses, and especially in running the football, you can sometimes do what you want. I don't know why my gut is telling me this. And I feel like for well over 2 decades, every time that we've played the University of Alabama, I have felt like, hey, man, in the early years, we're going to win. But at least the last decade plus, at least since 11, every time that we played Nick Saban in Alabama, we're just going to lose. In 19, I thought you were going to win. Even last year, I thought you were going to win to some extent because you had a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. But you always knew that game was going to be the toughest game on your schedule. Now I just feel like, man, you not only do you have more of a shot, and that game being at home at night, I think you might be a little bit better than them. I don't know if I'm completely sold on Bama at all. I think they got too much that they have to replace. And I don't know if they're not a playoff team. I don't know if they can't get to 10 wins. I don't know that. What I do know is I just don't know if I buy that man's going to come in here to the SEC and win them automatically. I know that he came from Washington. I know that they played for a national title. I know all of that. But this conference is tough, man. It's tough. I don't know. I think that Alabama is more like a 9-10 win team at max. I think they'll get 9 to 9-10 wins. And I think one of those losses is going to be you. I think you match up well with them. I know that they said that their defensive line is really good. Well, if your D-line was really good, then why did your team run all over you in the spring? Just wasn't a one-day thing. I know Bama fans are going to get mad at this. I'll pop the film on for you if you need me to. We'll see. I think they've been more talked about now than they kind of ever have been because of Kalen DeBoer. Oh, man, we can get Bama. We can get Bama. We can get Bama. Everybody thinks that they can beat Bama now. Everybody. Because Saban's not there. I don't know. Just y'all ever get a feeling like you feel like you just know something's going to happen? That's how I feel, man. It's how I like you're going to beat them. You might be 1-11. I feel like you're going to beat them. We used to have conversations. Would you take a win against Alabama and then lose all the rest of your games? My answer was always no, because if you're 11-1, you're probably going to get to a playoff. They're the teams that they're going to be the team though, because they're going to probably have a loss, maybe 2. I don't know if they'll get to 2, but they'll probably have a loss before they get to you, and probably you might too. That game might be might be a high stakes playoff game. On who gets in. We'll see. All right. Let's see if we got any comments here before we get out of here. Thoughts, questions, concerns. Bring them in there. David says, looking forward when Ole Miss comes into Tiger Stadium undefeated and us, we're going to slap those cheeks. I hope so. I hope so. I really do. I really, really, really do. Cole Adams says, Blake, I went back and watched Mizzou at Tennessee. Baker had Tennessee shell-shocked. Yeah, he did. And Baker we trust. Yeah, he did. They suffocated the shit out of them, man. They suffocated the shit out of them. I remember that Sunday night when we did Ruffino and Joe show and broke that game down. I came out there saying, hey, man, like, and here's another thing, too. I know that Ohio State were playing Missouri with their third-string quarterback. The last time that we've seen a Blake Baker defense, they suffocated the dog shit out of Ohio State, too. They were all on their ass. All on their ass. Blake's a good DC, man. Blake's a good DC. John Turner says the biggest thing about Bama was teams played Bama in the first, maybe even in the second, but by the fourth, Bama just overwhelmed and teams played scared. And Nick making the right moves, having the depth to do that, having a really good strength and conditioning staff, did that to you? I mean, he did it to everybody. And you know what's interesting? When you beat them in 22, your team was physically ready. Right? Like you were physically ready to beat them. And any other year, you're losing that game and Bama's going to a playoff. Or at least an SEC championship game. Who knows if they beat Georgia? But, I mean, Nick always be beating Kirby. Always beats Kirby. Chris Lomax says, we would have beat Bama if they didn't knock out JD5 not targeting call. I don't know if you win that game. I don't know if you win that game. I don't know if you win it. I do know that you would definitely have more of a chance, but I just don't think you're going to stop them defensively. You know, LSU fans should never say another word about Tommy Rees. Not one. Yeah, man, I know he got fired, but he was going to get fired because of his own volition. He didn't snap the ball back wrong. And you're going to tell me that Nick Saban let a center have bad snap problems all year long and put that on top, that kind of shit on Tommy Rees? Tommy Rees inherited what Nick Saban wanted at quarterback. Anyway. Anyway. All right. Let's get out of here. We'll talk to y'all soon, man. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you Saturday, actually, after practice, after the scrimmage. We'll see you then. Y'all have a good one. Peace.